Hello and welcome to World Talks on TVP World. I'm your host, Diana Skaya. Now, days of relentless rain have resulted in widespread flooding and with many fatalities already across Romania, Austria, and Poland. And this is the grim reality brought on by Storm Boris. Now, other Central European nations are also facing severe flooding with heavy rainfall in the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Austria, causing what we know so far as 16 deaths and extensive damage to property and public services. Now, while southern Poland continues to deal with flooding, assistance is already being dispatched to those in need, and many cities have established centers. Both charitable organizations and the government have promised to provide financial support. Now, joining me to discuss the issue that is rocking Central Europe by storm is Joanna, Kędzierska, energy and climate journalist. Thank you so much for being with us here this morning on TVP World Talks.
Hello, and thank you for having me.
Now, Joanna, first of all, let's start by asking the most important question that everyone, I believe, is asking themselves. Why is this happening? With this current situation is already tense. Also, what more damage can the region of Central Europe expect?
Well, why is happening? It's the combination of two factors. First of all, as we already know, we were affected by Genoese law, which is quite well known to all climate scientists, and which is like a cyclical phenomena occurring every couple of years, but it was strengthened, unfortunately, by climate change. And even yesterday, we had first scientific reports issued by climate scientists confirming that, in fact, this storm wouldn't be that strong, that disastrous, if not climate change, if not global temperature rise. And they estimate that due to climate change, the level of precipitation was about 20% higher compared to, let's say, situation when we do not have climate change. So, we have to mention that Mediterranean Sea was, that the temperature of the Mediterranean Sea was record high this summer because the temperatures were record high. And when the Genoese law is created, is close on the sea, close to Genoa. So all this water, which is vaporizing from the sea, is somehow sucked to the low. So more the water is vaporing, more water is sucked to the low, and then more water we have on the ground when the rain falls.
Now, I wanted to talk about really climate change as the last factor during our interview, but since you have already brought it up, I'm going to ask you. So, would you say that it would be possible in this case to prevent climate change and the kind of flooding that the entire Eastern European region is experiencing in the past few days, with more to come?
No, we are not able to prevent it. How come? We cannot suck all the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, which we put there within like 170 years, in fact, because we talk about emissions since 1850. So how could you imagine that we suck all this greenhouse gases from the atmosphere and we make it like normal or as it used to be in the past?
How would you say that the current flood compares to the past significant flooding events, with those that took place in 1997, in 2002, and this in terms of preparedness and response? Like, was the infrastructure ready for such a situation?
They are much worse, and this is also confirmed by scientists. And they will be much worse in the future. And this is also confirmed by IPCC, so Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, which as we know, it is an international institution working within the United Nations, which estimates threats related to climate change and estimates our advancements if it comes to cut of greenhouse gases. So definitely those extreme weather events, such floods, such heat waves, such wildfires will be worse as much as the temperature will be rising, and temperature will be definitely rising, and no matter of emissions, we will probably reach 2 degrees Celsius till 2050 more or less, due to our past emissions, which now are in the atmosphere. And now we are at more or less 1.2 degrees Celsius. So actually this amount will double, meaning that the risks also will double. In IPCC reports, you can actually find and check how much the level of moisture in the atmosphere is rising in case of raising temperature by certain amount. So unfortunately, yes, and we are not prepared. Our infrastructure is not prepared, and and in fact, infrastructure anywhere else in the world is not prepared, because we built our infrastructure for climate which we had like 50-60 years ago, not today, and the climate dramatically changed and we neglected that, and we have been told by scientists for many years that we need to protect, that not only mitigation is a element of fighting climate change, what we actually have started to do by cut global emissions, but also adaptation. Yes, because we need to adapt to new climate conditions which we experience now. Yeah,
so I would like a country to, like just to before I sorry, I'm cutting you off, but it's interesting what you said. So how could let's take Poland as an example, right? How could how could we do that? Just go a little bit more specific in that. Like what are the steps
in terms of floods?
In terms of floods, yes. Absolutely.
Well, this is also mentioned many times by scientists. Even yesterday we had a broad discussion. First of all, if it comes to water management, we have to focus on natural retention, not building, dams and huge reservoirs, because as we see, one by one is damaged, because we do not know how much water we will receive. And secondly, we actually destroy our water infrastructure building such huge construction. Natural retention means, first of all, that we have to stop build our houses close to rivers. I mean, that's I mean, probably the most important thing. We should let the water pour where is the water's natural place to pour. We have to stop cut trees in mountains and let the natural forest grow, because they act like a sponge. They just take at least 10 or 20% of the water which is inundating us and stop it. We should create inundation area. We should revitalize wetlands and swamps, which also acts like a sponge. We should deregulate and revitalize our rivers, to remove to make them as much natural as they used to be in the past. So in general, reverse all those damages we have done to make them more natural. And even a natural restoration law, which Poland didn't really want to implement, but we finally have implemented, is also about that. In this document, we have ways how to manage our water system, because this is what we did actually by construct and regulate our rivers, add to both drought and floods, because the water which for instance comes now, we also we want to give a strict way and push this water as we would like to, and in the same time we actually waste it, because this water is needed in wetlands, needed in woods, needed in fields, which can then protect us against drought also, yes, and in the same time not inundate just terribly our cities. But we also have to think about to stop build our cities around rivers where is natural inundation area. That's the first step, and it's actually inevitable, because if we won't change our lifestyle, the climate will.
Thank you so much, Ms. Joanna Kędzierska. That's quite a hectic and difficult reality that our region is experiencing. And also the European Parliament in Strasbourg is to hold a parliamentary debate on aid for the flood victims in Europe. We'll have to wait and see how that is going to play out and what kind of aid actually is going to be given to the victims. Thank you so much. Joanna Kędzierska, energy and climate journalist. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And that's all for this edition of World Talks. Thank you for having been with us. Stay tuned for more news next.